The Shadow Sprude. Prologue. It had been a long journey to get to where I am now in the current events of my life. To understand, though, how I got here in the first place, I recall to myself what led me here. And for you to understand my story, I should recall it to you too. I remember 24 years ago, a young girl by the name of KURAI Severith, that's me, was born to a small village. My parents I don't quite remember, considering I left at a young age to pursue my own dream. However, I remember that people feared me for whatever reason. I don't recall why, as it was hard to remember. At least, at the time, I didn't understand, is what I should say. I had forged my own armor with what little resources I had. But that wouldn't do me any good, so I earned money with said armor to get a better set. That being the black steel armor that I wear currently, with two long iron horns side by side protruding from each shoulder of the armor. This black steel armor was my treasure trove and temple and everything. It complemented my purple blindfold and my long black braided hair. And as a kid, I was always prowessed with the skill of wielding the blade, my trusty iron sword. So sharp, it was like a dragon's claw. And simple fire magic. But I mean to call myself no better than a wizard. The reason why I set out to the place that I go was because I always had an interest in the true history of dragons. For as long as I can remember, dragons always have different stories about them, but because there are so many different stories, I never knew which one was real. That's why I sought out to find the true history for dragons. As I walk currently, I head to a place called Elder Growth. It had took me a lot to get here, fighting through woods, learning how to survive on my own, sailing through a bit of the sea, fighting my way through jungles and poisonous snakes, all to get to the lush green land, the oldest place for elves. Elder Growth used to be a kingdom. At least, until a war happened, as far as I know. This war brought down Elder Growth to its knees and eventually vanquished it. Whether or not there were any natives here, left still standing, I had no idea. But I did not care. I sought to do only one thing, and that was to find ancient text about dragons. And this place had to be it. As I walk currently, the green lush leaves crunch under my feet. This place was built in front of a tall, towering mountain, a cliff that you could look down upon. The kingdom was in ruins when I saw it for the first time with my own very eyes. It looked like somebody had torched the place. Only a couple of ruins remained. And as I scanned, there was no inhabitants other than simple life like birds and bees. So, since this was a sacred land, I sought to protect not only myself, but its inhabitants at least, to pay respects to the Elder Growth Kingdom. Separating it from the outside world was a very long river of crystal blue sparkling water which complemented the nice partly cloudy sunlit sky. That was to also contrast the desolence of the place. I had built myself a wooden bridge, used rope that I had gathered on my journey, and walked across. The bridge was not sturdy, but I kept my balance. It would do. When I ventured onto the land, I saw there were stone steps, old and cracked, but I could still walk on it. I walked up the steps carefully, making sure there were no traps in the way. And in my waking, I saw a temple, old and ruined. I carefully moved the stones around, putting them back neatly, until I found ancient text. This text was in Elvish, Old Elvish. I decided I could read it, as I knew better than all my other village people Elvish, the language of Old Elvish, but not new. With this in mind, I read it out loud to myself, carefully. One's path will be enlightened by the elder growth's vestige. Those who are pure will get to find the real knowledge of elder growth's descendants into befall. Behold, for this is a path, a journey that once you start, no longer can be stopped. I pondered to myself what this could all mean for my future if I decide to look and pursue for the dragon's history. That is when the text began to glow and circle around me. I, surprised, took a step back, drew my blade out. For what appeared in front of me was a surprise. Mythical at first, it seemed. I squinted my eyes to get a better look, for the light was blinding. But that light soon dissipated to reveal a ghostly, robed figure, face shrouded in darkness, but I could see elvish ears that stuck from underneath its purple cloak, with golden weavings and intricate symbols on it. The figure wasn't as tall as I, however, they were just as intimidating, if not more, than me. I took a deep breath, and I put my sword away, claiming that I was to do no harm to the sacred grounds of Elder Growth, but I only wanted knowledge of Dragon's history, and I asked so beggingly if I could receive just that. The figure, they called themselves the Elder Growth's vestige, told me it would not be so simple to just tell, and that I'd have to learn it for myself. The figure told me if I truly want to go down the path to find the dragon's history, I need to begin in a secret chamber built into the palace. The palace that was just beneath here, underneath the cliff, built into the mountain. There lies a secret chamber. I asked if they could guide me. They said no, for their soul is trapped only to eternity of the temple's grounds. It would disappear and vanquish as soon as it stepped off the mountain. A bit disheartened, I asked if there was any way that the Elder Growth vestige could tag along my journey, as I knew I couldn't do it alone. A smile appeared from the shadowy face of the figure. The Elder Growth vestige said there is a way, that there could be a link between the minds of the two. But I need to perform a ritual. Inside that secret chamber is an item that can be used. With that being the case, before the Elder Growth vestige could say any more, I saluted and ran down the stairs, running down the steps as fast as I could, not caring what gets in my way. So long as the dragon's history could be claimed, I would do absolutely anything I say. But what I didn't realize is that challenge would be tested. As I ran into the ruins of the kingdom, I slowed my pace, realizing I could put myself in danger by doing that, but still trotted along happily. As I made way, about halfway, someone called out to me from behind. The voice sounded hostile, aggressive, protective at best. And so, without hesitation, I turned around, drew my blade out. I yelled out, "Who goes there?" only to see before me, standing about 10 or so meters away, a group of elves. Standing in front of them was a tall elven lady. The lady, she had a white dress on, with parts of iron armor as well. Specifically, on her shoulders and covering half of her chest. Her black coal eyes filled with the determination of something I could not see. What I would soon find out is that was the look of determination to protect her people and her land. But as I stated before, I would do absolutely anything to get the dragon's history. This situation between me and these elves would be the exact same. And I treat them with the same ideology I treat everything else. She demanded to know who I was. I did not tell her. At least not just yet. But instead, I took a step forward. And I swung my blade. Into which direction? Well, these are the current events. And so, I swung my blade backwards. For what reason? Well, let's just say I was serious about getting this information by any means necessary. Prologue.